Dane, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you to have you on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, glad we're here and talking horror and metal. My
Yeah,
favorite thing, so should be a good time.
yeah. So am mine too, man. The horror and metal um uh thing, like it blends in so well. Like, how can you not like listen to metal and horror at the same time? You know what I mean? Or maybe not at the same time, but like, yeah.
I mean, I would do the same time. To me, they're kind of like cousins, right? They go hand in hand. Like you can't have one without the other. So
Yeah,
to me, the best metal really captures both.
yeah, yeah. I kind of feel like where you hear like a brutal like kill, it's always like something like that. It's just like that heavy death metal vibe. So
Yeah,
similar to like Cannibal Corpse, I'm assuming. So
sure. Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about your side project, Cyberscream. How all that came about?
Yeah. Well, and it's more like a main project nowadays. I'm doing Cyberscream more than Combichrist at this point, but that has been an idea of mine forever, but it's really only come into fruition the last couple of years. Since 2022, I started putting out a bunch of mixtapes and kind of just getting this sound in my head of what I was trying to, capture, which included a lot of like metal stuff, but a lot of like an industrial and electronic pop. And, coming back to the horror, I want to include that somehow too, without being too campy about it all. Like not being like, oh, this is a horror metal band, but just having kind of like some of those aspects in the DNA of it all. But so since late 2022, I've been kind of putting out a couple of songs every few months, and it's been really cool and exciting to see the response for a change. As far as people like kind of starting to dig it and discover it for the first time. So it's kind of led to the next obvious step, which is live shows, which is actually happening this week here in Florida, where I'm at right now.
Oh, cool.
I'll have two shows in Jacksonville and Orlando. So we'll do that, and that's kind of the next evolution of the experimentation process of seeing how this all works. But it's been cool. And it's been fun, and it's all me in the studio. So everything you hear instrumentally, vocally, production wise, it's all one stop shop right here. So that's been a fun and an exciting challenge too.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, who do you have like playing like for that project? But then now you mentioned it, you're pretty much doing everything, guitars, bass, you're programming drums too, correct?
Yeah, I mean, programming it all, really. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
this. We have so many tools at our disposal this day and age, so it's like you might as well use them. Now that being said, I'm not opposed to like one day I want to have a live band. That'd be awesome. But when it comes to like songwriting and like getting the ideas out of my head, it's all me. Kind of like Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails kind of thing, or even Andy and
yeah,
Combichrist. It's
yeah,
like when in the studio that's the idea, and it comes together in a live setting with different people and that kind of thing. So that'll be the next step after that too.
yeah. Yeah, I could definitely hear some bit of that Combichrist influential, even though you are the drummer from Combichrist, but that it also had a bit of that Nine Inch Nail Year Zero vibe to it as well.
That's good to hear, dude. I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment. I'm a massive Nine Inch Nails fan.
Same.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like to be able to kind of put those influences in a song, but have it not be too on the nose is like that's the challenge, right? Like, how do I make it still me, make it still Dane White? But if you listen to it like you did, you would know that that dude loves Nine Inch Nails, so that you can hear the ingredients that went into it, hopefully in a new way. That's always the goal for me.
Yeah. Um. No, I really dig it. So obviously you're the front man for the band. What inspired you to become a lead vocalist?
Um, I think it was necessity at first. And it didn't feel right to kind of write my songs and have someone else sing them.
Yeah.
um it didn't feel there was a disconnect that would have felt inauthentic to me. It's like if I'm trying to express myself, I gotta do it myself. And I've always enjoyed singing and that sort of thing, but I never really took it too seriously until I was like, all right, well, if you're gonna write these songs and you want to perform them, like let's figure out how to do it. You know, let's start working on singing, and let's start, you know, hitting that aspect of it. And then the more I've done that, the more enjoyable it's become too. And also, like, I love the audience connection too. And like, I love working the crowd. I love being on stage in that capacity. That's hard to do from a drum set. You know, it's hard to do from the back of the stage.
Yeah.
Um, so it was kind of all those things coming together. I was like, all right, well, if I want to, because there were times when I've done like Cyberscream live experiments where I would like drum and sing at the same time, and it kind of sacrificed on both ends. Like I couldn't shine on the drums and I couldn't shine as a vocalist or a frontman. So it was like something kind of had to give. As cool as it might have been just to pull that off, it's like I would have been more satisfied commanding the stage as a front man. You know, these are my songs. I'm going to sing them. I'm going to work the crowd to get everyone pumped up, and that's become much more enjoyable and exciting over the last, you know, really just year or so. But yeah, that's kind of, it was just necessity at first, and here we are.
Yeah. A mate of mine, he he plays drums in his band called Coffin Scum. They're like a horror punk rock vibe type band. And yeah, he was like drumming and singing at the same time. And I was just asking like, how do you do that? It
Yeah,
seems
dude.
so difficult to do, like especially with the timing, with the song and singing at the same time.
Sure. You know, and like there's a lot of people that can do it and pull it off very well. But I think it'd be cool to do it in the sense of like it's almost like a novelty part of the show. Like even the band like Godsmack, you know, I'm sure you know Godsmack, but like their live
Yeah,
show, the singer, he comes out in the middle of the set and like, dude, that he shreds on drums like out of nowhere, and I don't think he's singing while he's doing it. But same thing with like, you know, Phil Collins, he's an amazing singer and songwriter, but he gets on the drums or in the air tonight, and then it's like kind of it's a cool
that
part of the
feel.
show. So like I think that could be a possibility one day, just because like just to try to incorporate both, but not have it be the core of what Cyberscream is. But it's like anything, you know, like trying to learn guitar and sing. It's like you just there's two parts of your brain you kind of have to sync
Yeah,
together, and it can be done. It's just like it's definitely a challenge for sure.
yeah. So yeah, so he was like using like the old school like Tommy Lee like the microphone headset thing when he was
Yep,
doing that. But now he found a drummer and now he's just doing straight up vocals now. So
that's cool. I'll just check them out. But 'cause I did the same thing. I had the Tommy Lee mic, and
yeah,
you know, you do what you got to do to make it work. But that's awesome. Small world as if people have similar ideas.
yeah. And I was listening to your cover of Dirty Diana.
Yeah,
Amazing cover, by the way.
thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Um, that was a fun one that kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, I always loved that song and like the kind of like sleazy '80s vibe that it has. But I always heard it so much heavier in my head. You know, like I was like that could be a crushing metal tune if it was done right. And I just kind of had
Oh
that
yeah,
just for fun. Like that was just for me. And then when it was time to start making some of these mixtapes, and I was like, you know what? Like I want to put out just kind of every flavor I have at the moment. And that one just kind of made sense. Like, you know what? Let's put this cover out and see how it does. And people responded really well to it. And it's it helps to kind of expand the idea that this is not just a metal or a rock project. Like, you know,
no,
I'm a huge pop fan. I love Michael Jackson. And to take some of those ingredients and put them in Cyberscream, I grew up with that stuff, so it was like that would make sense that it's in the DNA of what I'm doing. But I'm glad you liked it, man. That was a fun one to make, and I'm excited to do it live too. I think people will dig it.
yeah. It's like if Michael Jackson went industrial.
Yeah, I'll take it. That's great.
You know,
I hope
yeah,
he's
no,
looking down on me right now and being like, "All right, you did it, Dane. Good job."
yeah. Was he like one of your big inspirations for being a singer?
Definitely. You know, I remember being like, you know, 4 and 5 years old on my parents' staircase and like dancing to Billie Jean and Thriller and all that. I had like this amazing cassette tape that I still have and I'll watch on VHS just because it's so timeless to me. But like it was just a collection of all his like hits and music videos. And that was the other thing too. He had amazing visual aspects to go along with the music too.
Yeah,
And I loved that. And so I would always do the dances and like that was my first big like idol, you know, like, whoa, people can do that. And you know, I got into metal and stuff much later, but like he was definitely an early influence.
Yeah, yeah. Like he's known for like being the king of pop, but like he's also had like some crushing, like hard rock tunes as well that people don't know.
Definitely, yeah. And like I think he like dug all that stuff, you know, like, you know, having Eddie Van Halen on Beat It, and it kind of embracing the rock sound in a new way. That was kind of a in some ways an early crossover for like pop and metal and rock and that kind of thing, and even that's even more expanded upon in Dre Diana. Um, but I do think that he was definitely a big proponent of that, and it's cool to see that even back then he was mixing some of those flavors.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely. He would have been so good to see live, but you know,
I know. I wish I could have seen him too at some point, but
yeah, he was meant to do that really big world tour. Was that This Is It tour, whatever
yeah.
it was? Yeah,
Hmm.
Orianthi was meant to be playing guitar for her, for him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Orianthi is from Australia. She's an Australian guitarist from Adelaide, and yeah, she was like his guitar player, just like for that tour. But obviously, she never went to go on tour with him. But I've seen like
Sure.
rehearsal videos of that, and yeah, man, she fucking nailed it.
I bet. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'll have to look that up and see. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I think after that, I think Alice Cooper stole her.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. He's got all good, you know, guitar players right now, it seems.
Yeah, 100%, and he's like one of my idols. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so I want to dive into a little bit about Combichrist as well because I'm still newish to them, but I've been following Combichrist for like maybe like 2 3 years. I've actually discovered Combichrist through Eric 13, and how I discovered Eric 13 was from the Calibres podcast episode that was happening during lockdown. So
Oh, no way.
yeah, yeah. So you joined Combichrist in 2019, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I joined in spring of 2019, and we did a massive world tour like right after that. So like starting out in the
Oh
States,
wow.
went to Europe for the first time, went to Australia for the first time, and then we ended up
What tour was that
doing
one?
which tour was it?
Yeah.
It was the One Fire World Tour.
Oh
So for
yeah,
that, in support of that album, yeah.
yeah. Because you played drums on that one, correct?
I played drums on it. I didn't do anything in studio for that, like, but in the live setting, like, yeah, I that's the album that I joined on. Was
Okay
Fire.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's a killer record, man. Like,
it is. Yeah, there's some kind of forgotten gems on it, but you know, that were fun to play, and but I feel like this one that just came out is really kind of has the best of all the worlds of where things are heading right now with Combichrist. It's like it's
oh
got
yeah,
the best of the metal and the best of the electronic, and it's all kind of coming together in this really cool way. So if I have a personal favorite, I mean, I've only been on like two since I've been in the band, but this one is like this is my personal favorite. The one that just came out.
yeah. Oh, dude. Um, I didn't realize there was two sides of that album because obviously, I'm a Spotify player, and I will
Yeah.
admit that. But like, I was flicking through the song list because like I'm like shit, this is a long ass album, and it was like disc one and disc two, and so that kind of explains why it goes for that long. But like,
Yeah.
I like it how disc one is just like hard hitting metal with a bit like a little bit of that industrial side to it, and then when
Mhm.
you go to the second one, it's just straight up industrial electronic like vibe, which is friggin' awesome. So
Yeah, man.
yeah,
So it's cool. I'm excited to see where things go next with Combi. But that's if it's heading in that direction, that must be pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. You have a favorite track on that album?
Favorite track? You know, probably Wolves Eating Wolves.
Yeah,
There were a lot of really cool drum parts that were written for this record, and I think I want to think in my egotistical sort of way that
yeah,
I joined Combichrist and Andy saw that I could handle some intense or more intricate drum parts, and so he wrote those kind of pretty fearlessly. and it was a challenge to learn for this last tour we did last summer, and then here in the States even in last spring. But there's some really cool like little drum breaks and weird beats, and it was kind of a breath of fresh air. As much as I love the kind of hard hitting club four on the floor stuff, it was nice to have some chops to kind of work on too, uh, and also showcase. And maybe people don't know that I can even do some of that stuff, but I hope that they kind of left going, "Whoa, that dude can do more than boots and cats and boots and cats and
Yeah,
that sort of thing." So but the track, to answer your question, I think Wolves Eating Wolves is probably the best one of like, it's a killer track with awesome drums too. So that's probably my personal favorite.
yeah. I liked Modern Demon. That's like one of the most catchiest songs on the album.
That is a
Um,
fun one, yeah.
yeah, that. But I like Planet Doom.
Planet Doom is sick, yeah. Well, and you saw the
Yeah,
video too, I imagine, right? It being a
yeah,
horror fan. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was saying to when I had Eric on here, I was saying to him like the Planet Doom video clip captured that old school 80s B grade horror vibe with it, like that campy Friday the 13th Evil Dead twist to it a bit, which is pretty cool. I like it.
100%. It felt like Evil Dead too. Like, I mean, we were in
Yeah.
that cabin in the middle of the night. It was freezing out. It was not a fun shoot. It was really, really hard to do that. But it ended up looking great. But like, we were in this cabin with no power in the middle of the woods.
Oh
I
shit.
think that was that Alabama? I think it was. But it was creepy, dude. Like, so it felt like we were in the Evil Dead cabin, like just waiting to get murdered by deadites. But
Yeah.
it ended up. I'm glad we got through it, and it ended up being really cool. So, uh, but yeah, that was a fun concept for the video to begin with.
No, I dig it, and like Eric's guitar playing is like amazing in what he does for that band. Will there be any more music video clips coming out for that album?
For a Combichrist, I'm not sure. As far as things that I've done, I think that's the extent. As far as like music videos, there could be something in the future. I'm not really sure. Or I know Andy a lot of times will do like almost like visualizers or
Yeah.
just a little more abstract video kind of things that don't have like a cast per se. But I don't know, to answer your question as far as that is concerned. But never say never. You can be surprised.
Yeah. Well, a lot of bands seem to be doing that these days now, instead of like
Right.
actually making proper music video clips. I think it all comes down to the budget, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, and engagement too. It's like at a certain point, it's like, you know, why would you need a music video if no one's really gonna, you know, engage with it the way they would have, say, 10 years ago? And it's like, maybe we can make 20 10-second
Mm.
music videos and content and make that's gonna be way more effective as far as like reaching people, than like, spending all this money and budget on one thing that would only, you can only kind of use one time, if that makes sense. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what Bisto Blanco is doing at the moment now from their new album that came out last year called Connecticut.
Mhm.
Because I had Chuck and Calico on here, and they're doing like it's 11-track album, and they're doing 11 music videos for that album. And you got to like once it all release, I think it's going to be into like a movie, so it's sort of like all connects in. So at the
That's
moment,
cool.
so at the moment, I think they're like just releasing like uh, a minute and a half like clips from each track,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Well, I mean, that's an awesome idea, and I love that. And I don't want to say like I don't think the music video is dead, but I
Mm,
think we have to kind of adjust how we show it to people. And it's
yeah,
like your short form content that you make, your little 10-second clip of the music video will hopefully lead them to it, and they can engage in the long form. So it's changing our approach. But I love, like I said, music videos, and like it adds so much to the art, having that visual representation that may have nothing to do with the song, but it looks cool, or it's a fun vibe, and you just go with it. So it definitely just it elevates the experience.
oh yeah, I'm a big music video guy, man. I used to when I was younger, I used to like stay up late when we had cable and that, and just watch just like music videos hours for
Like, which
hours.
one is your favorite?
What? That's a tough one because I've seen so many.
Yeah.
Shit. Slipknot, Before I Forget, was pretty cool because it's like an abandoned house, like just in
Well,
like in the middle of nowhere
do you
with
mean
like just a
Duality?
yeah. Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Duality. I got mixed up with
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
two because like Before I Forget was sort of like in a warehouse. So yeah, Duality, yeah, with like all the like the random kids just like rocking out and moshing and shit.
Dude, I remember that
Um,
so clearly when that came out. Yeah, I was a huge. I still am a huge Slipknot fan, but that was a
yeah,
great
same.
video.
And probably I think Repentless by Slayer. It's only
Oh
because it's
yeah.
just like just insanely violent and just like it's like, have you seen like all three videos to like that? There's like um they did like Me Against You or Against You. I can't remember the fucking song, but like they did like a 3-part thing for that album or whatever it was. And you got to connect the 3 videos together. So it kind of tells a story about a guy that gets out of prison and just like fucking kills his inmates and then escapes and gets captured again
Oh geez.
and all that shit. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
intense.
I haven't seen
Uh,
that one. I don't think, but
I have to send you a link. It's pretty brutal. But
okay.
yeah, um, it's always hard, dude. It's always hard. I like live videos, like
Hmm.
live like the live videos are always cool. But yeah,
Sure.
dude, that's a hard one. What about yourself?
I mean, honestly, any Michael Jackson one, like we spoke about earlier, like Thriller is an all timer, and I love that it's like it's a music video, but also kind of a mini movie. Like
Yeah.
that's awesome. But when it comes to metal, I mean, you know who's probably killing it the most right now with music videos is Falling in Reverse. I'm a
Oh yeah,
huge
I've
fan
heard
of
of
those
them.
guys.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
heard of them, yeah?
Yeah. I've like heard bits of their stuff. Like, I know there's like a lot of shit, going with this with the lead singer, but like that dude's very talented.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And like the videos are like they're so over the top, insane, like action movie shoot 'em up. It's a spectacle, and I've missed the spectacle aspect, and I hope we keep seeing more of that. And same with like Ice Nine Kills. They're doing really great with
Yes.
music videos too, and incorporating the horror and that kind of stuff. So it's hard to say any specific ones, but like as far as bands that are killing it right now, I think that those are two that come to mind immediately. Um, but yeah, they're fun. I like the over the topness of it all.
But then if you want to go to the theatrical side of things, Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson are probably the top two.
Yeah, two also favorites of mine that I've seen live many times. And I like with zombies too. It's got that old school Universal vibe too. Like we're
Yeah.
on a sound stage with like a minimal, even not on purpose, a minimal budget, and like we're kind of on green screens running around. And like there's a campy cheesiness to it all that are fun with his. So I definitely dig that too.
Yeah, I really like is that the Crow? Just double check. It's the last track from uh it's the last track from his latest album.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah. What's called? Crow
Is that
Blues
info?
Killer, I think it's called.
Okay, I'm admittedly
Oh,
less familiar
Crow
with that
Killer
one.
Blues. That's the one.
Okay,
The last track on the last album that he released with John 5. Like it's just him like walking through the fucking snow.
huh?
But like in black and white, and then that has like and that cuts from him walking in the snow singing, and then it sort of like cuts into the band playing as well. But like
Okay.
um you could make like a low budget like music video clip but like still make it look fucking awesome, but it's
Yeah,
Rob Zombie, so
I mean, yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He's legendary at this point. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great dude as well. I've met him once. But yeah, super nice. I want to dive into a little bit about your how you got into the whole music industry thing. So, like, how did that all started for you? And do you remember your first gig?
Yeah, I mean, I was involved with music from a very early age. Like, I came from a musical family, like growing up in church and kind of performing in that way and that sort of stuff. But I got in like school band pretty early on. I was playing saxophone.
Ah,
I got
nice.
like really, really into that. Yeah. So like from fifth grade to college, it was just like nothing but band and marching band and jazz band and all that stuff. So I had all that kind of training and love for
Yeah,
it. That by the time it came to go to college, I was going to college for music, but like I was like, like I don't necessarily want to be a professional saxophone player in a classical orchestra. That doesn't sound super fun. I was at this point, I was like super into bands. I wanted to be on stage as a rocker, and a metal guy. And I got into drums when I was about 17, 18. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to do this, I want to figure out how to get on to join bands and that sort of thing. So I started playing in Arizona with some local bands, like some local horror punk bands, some thrash bands, and just kind of doing DIY tours and small shows and that kind of thing. Um, so that's how I got into the world and started meeting people and kind of figuring out how things work. But when I moved to Orlando in 2015, that's when I started Cyberscream, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start trying to figure out how to write. And like, that was my first fledgling attempts at like putting together my own shows and learning how to be a singer, learning how to be a songwriter, all those things. And that kind of led to 2019 when I joined Combichrist. So it was kind of all
yeah,
these things kind of coming together. It was learning a bit more each time. That when the time came for a professional call, I kind of had some resources and preparations and knew how to handle myself. And it was still a huge challenge, once you're in that professional world, you're no longer the local guy. You're on a more of a national stage in a pro level band, so that comes with its own challenges.
mm.
But that was kind of like my first real breakthrough in like the pro section of law was Combichrist. And
Okay,
yeah, yeah, but it's been cool to evolve that now. And like, so when we have time off from Combichrist, I can come back and apply that all to Cyberscream and things I learned on the road, um and kind of get those, or kind of get that one going again, from a
yeah,
different vantage point with more experience, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So like Combichrist was like your first real thing, like
The first thing that I was paid money for, like, I was like, oh, cool, this is you got a job, yeah. That
yeah,
that wasn't like, to pay for your gas or for the hotel for the night. Like, that was my first professional gig. Um,
yeah,
and it's been great. It's been what, this will be my sixth year technically.
yeah,
Um,
right.
but yeah, that was my first kind of breakthrough into the business, I guess.
Yeah, that's rad. And who inspired you to become a drummer?
You know, um, Probably Lars Ulrich, honestly.
Yeah. What,
I
the old
remember
Lars?
hearing, well, it was a listening to the And Justice for All album and hearing those drum tones, and like they're so like
Oh,
punchy,
yeah.
and for whatever reason I was at the right age. I was probably 14, 15, and like it hit different, I guess. I was like, ooh, like that's cool, like. And
Yeah.
it kind of coincided ironically, like at the time the game Rock Band was really huge in America. I'm not sure if it
Yes.
was in Australia or not, but
Oh, dude, it was like the ultimate party game.
yeah, it was amazing, right? Like, so
Yeah.
we had that game. There's a drum set, and I was playing along to Metallica songs, and like, but it made sense. I'm playing drums, and like, this sounds cool. Like, I'm digging
Yeah.
this. And I always like admired all kind of musicians and metal at that time, but like, this, I think that was what made me want to start to play drums. And then
Yeah.
I got really into like death metal too, and I loved like super fast technical blast beat dudes. um Even though I couldn't play it at all, I always wanted to do that. Like, that it just seemed so cool to me. um so I think, yeah, like I said, I was about 16 or 17. I got like my first drum kit and went in the garage and just started wailing for hours and hours a day, playing along to Metallica, playing along to Korn too. Ray Luzier, still one of my all-time favorite drummers. Dude can play anything. He's probably the biggest influence for me. but seeing him live and emulating his parts was really big on my style.
Mm,
The late great Joey Jordison,
yep.
um, just all these guys, and just basically just kind of figuring out on myself as playing along to their songs, and to the point where you start to kind of develop your own chops and figure out what you're doing a bit more. And um, but yeah, those are probably some of like my earliest drum influences. That's even still, I would say, they apply to what I'm doing.
Yeah. So it was like Justice for All was like your first Metallica record?
The first one that I heard with a musical ear and not just like, oh, that's Metallica, cool. Like I understood
Yeah.
like, oh, those are really cool sounding drums. So why do they sound that way? Um, so I was aware of them, of course, and it was fun music. But like that was, Injustice was probably the first one I heard that was like I heard as a musician and not just a song or a fan.
Yeah. It's funny though, because like Justice for All was like my first two.
Was it?
I still, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Injustice for All. My dad bought it for me when I was 16. And then, yeah, Master of Puppets. Then I think it was like Reload and Load
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But yeah, Justice was always going to be my favorite Metallica record, man. Even though they turned down the bass, obviously. I think I've read something, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they turned down the bass on that album. I think it's probably because, like, in memory of Cliff Burton type of thing.
Yeah, there's tons of stories on that. It's was it First Day Hazing for
Yeah,
what was his name? It's I'm losing on my metal streak right now. I don't know.
Jason Newsted.
Jason Newsted. Jesus Christ, yes. I was like, what is that dude's name? I know it, but I was like right tip my tongue. But yeah, so was it his First Day Hazing, or was it
Yeah.
who knows? But it's still I think a great album. So
It is, and like every song on that album, man, it just hits you in the face,
mhm.
and you just want
Yeah.
it to end, but it keeps on going.
Yeah, it's definitely it's an all timer. I dig that one.
Yeah, yeah, same. But yeah, Justice, Master of Puppets, and probably Ride the Lightning are my top three
Those are all
Metallica
good.
albums.
Yeah, I mean, like I always prefer really everything Black Album and forward, I guess. But
Oh yeah,
Red Lightning, that's probably top three for sure.
oh yeah, 100%. Friggin', I remember my brother and I, he used to take the piss out of me. He'd be like, Megadeth's better.
Uh, See, I mean, I love Megadeth too, and like my first metal
Same.
band, like we did all kinds of Megadeth covers, and like that was kind of the style. Like they loved that like speed metal kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a difference in styles, but like it was, I guess you could say, more intricate the Megadeth thing. But like I love them both equally. There's no competition, I guess.
Oh yeah, same. Because like every time he would say that, like, well, I'm just like, well, Dave Mustaine sounds like shit. I'm just like,
I mean, hey, to each their own, man. Like
yeah,
everyone
it
has
is,
their own.
yeah, yeah. But like, then I grew out of it, and then just became a fan and shit like that. So I'm assuming you're a big thrash guy.
Yeah, I want to. What you just said, that reminded me, is like I think that's such an important thing to evolve out of that. Like, and I
Yeah,
get it when you're in high school, like because I was the same way. I'm like, everything that's not fucking crushing metal sucks, and like,
yeah,
hey man, like there's some great pop stuff too. There's some great there's great jazz out there. There's great rap out there. Like, it's like you can open your world a little bit and not be so metal all the time. And I'm glad that I got out of that. But it is funny to see, and it's like, oh, you know what? Bless your heart. You enjoy your crushing, your crushing
yeah.
metal, and I'll see you in a couple of years. Hopefully, you've expanded your tastes a bit.
Yeah, well, it's like when you were mentioning falling in reverse. Like I wasn't really a big fan, but like 'cause since it's like blowing up everywhere, and yeah, I was like just checking out some of this stuff, and yeah, like
Well, like for me, like
it's
sometimes
talented.
I don't. Oh, sorry. Well, I was gonna say for me, sometimes like I don't quite always get everything that's happening. And when I
Mm,
see that, I see something blowing up, and I'm like, I want to understand, why do people like this? And I found some great music that way. by kind of putting the ego aside, or like what I think is cool or not cool. And like, this is obviously blowing up. People like it. I want to know why. And when I've done that, like that's how I got into Ice Nine Kills. So I was like, I don't think I quite dig this yet, but now I'm like the biggest fan. I totally get it. And
I'm the same too. Yeah, I
same
was
with
the
like,
same.
yeah, same with Falling in Reverse. And it hasn't always worked. Sometimes I listen to something and be like, I still don't get it, but good for them for making their waves. That's great. But
Yeah.
I think it's important to always be able to be open to trying new things that you might not quite get, and be okay with it. You might not get it right now, but in a year or two, or after a few listens, you might have an appreciation for it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like that's what I like bands like Ice Nine Kills, because they have like a concept with the image and music. It's similar like what Alice Cooper is been doing for years. Like he's obviously the king of shock rock, but like his image and music and his stage shows, they're all blending all at once.
Right.
And not many bands do that.
Well, yeah, and we needed a modern equivalent to that too. Like we can't, as much as we love Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, we can't have them forever, unfortunately,
No.
right? So we need someone to kind of keep taking the envelope forward and pass the torch, as it were. But it's cool that it's them right now, because they're crushing the horror metal game.
Yeah, 100%. And who would you think that would like carry that torch when those guys' time has come?
I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like that's really far away. I feel like they just got their first dues, really. Like
Mm,
they're just getting started, and I think a lot of bands right now are just getting started, which is exciting. It feels like there's finally some fresh life in metal and rock, where it's been kind of you know stagnant more or less for the last 10 years. So I think we're finally seeing some new life to the genre, and it'll be cool to see where that goes. So I don't think
mm.
anybody anytime soon is going to like have to replace them, but I think it'll be cool to
Yeah,
see who adds to this what's currently happening.
I can name one band. Ready?
I'm ready.
Ghost.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's another one. But again, I think they just got started. They just reached like, oh, cool,
Yeah,
we're here. I think that they've been here for 10 years, but like I feel like
yeah,
on a massive level, they're just getting started. So it's exciting to see that people want heavy music and they want it in a theatrical way, and it'll be cool to see what else comes from that.
yeah. Have you seen Ghost live, or have you seen any of like the concert footage?
Not live, but I've watched many videos, and I like Ghost a lot.
Yeah, same.
Another one, I don't get this. Why is this popular? I'm gonna go listen to it. And after a couple listens, I got it. Like, okay, this is cool. I didn't understand it first, but now I get it and I respect it. Um, so I've watched many videos, but I've not seen them live yet. But one day, I'm sure we'll make that happen.
Yeah, I saw them live last year or the year. I think it was the year before. Sorry, because we're in 2025 now.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I saw them for the first time, and it was like the first time headlining Australia. And when they announced that tour, I'm like, I have to go. I really have to go to this, because like, what are the chances of not seeing this band live again? Because like, not many bands,
sure,
not many big bands come to Australia very often. Obviously, because of travel expenses.
sure.
It costs a lot of money to travel, but then most of the time they're all booked out to like what, November, December,
Mm,
and
yeah, I can imagine that.
but yeah, like the like that was an amazing show, and it was sold out. They had to switch venues because like tickets sold out within an hour or so.
That's incredible.
And
I love that.
oh yeah, it was awesome. But like they're like they're like the 21st century of Kiss. They just have that fan base.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool that they kind of like tricked people into liking like 60s and 70s music in a weird way. Like
Yeah,
but they put it in a cool way enough to it feels metal and rock still, but like it's got such that old school influence.
yeah,
But yeah, I like Ghost a lot. I want to see him live one day for sure.
yeah. Have you seen the concert movie Right Here, Right Now?
No, I heard it was good though.
Oh
I think
yeah,
I've seen some clips here and there, but I'll check that one out too.
fucking good. Yeah, man. So who are your top 5 drummers?
Top 5 drummers. Let's see. In no particular order.
Yeah,
I would go Ray Luzier from Korn. I saw
huge.
him do you know who that is? Are you familiar with
Yeah, yeah. I've seen
Yeah.
Korn
Cool.
twice, and Ray played on Mick Miles's solo album.
Right. Yeah. I think I've seen Korn more than any band that I've ever seen. Probably like 7 or 8 times. But he's just like he's impossible not to watch. I'm like it's a masterclass in rock drumming. So Ray Luzier,
Oh yeah.
for sure. Joey Jordison, as I mentioned, I'm a huge Slipknot fan, and even Eloy is killing it right now. And Jay Weinberg, every Slipknot drummer has crushed it, but like the OG, Joey, he's the man. Um, People forget how good Chris Adler was from Lamb of God.
Oh yeah. I saw
He
him with
was
Megadeth.
that must have been cool too. But he
Nice
was
dude as well.
oh, it's cool you met him.
Yeah.
He was a major influence of mine early on. I loved playing the Ashes of the Wake, and he had some really really cool drum parts. Um, so I can give you 3. As far as the last 2, I
That's
feel like it's
tough.
such it's an interchangeable seat, these days. But because there's so many
Yeah.
good drummers. Um, Yeah, I can only go with 3, man. That's all I got for you. But
Nah, it's all
basically,
good.
take whoever's the hottest drummer in the world right now. We'll take spots 4 and
Yeah.
5 or whatever.
Yeah. You can
But
put yourself in
those are
there.
my
You can put
say
yourself
again.
in there
Sorry.
if you want. Oh, I was about to say is that you can put yourself in there if you want, bro.
Oh yeah, well yeah, of course. I'll take 4 and 5. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a guitar player, but like I always find drummers don't get enough enough love for what they do on stage. Like they don't really get recognized as much on stage.
Sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that not all of them get their due, but I feel like it's getting better nowadays with social media and people can kind of show off their chops.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So it's better than it was, I would say.
Oh yeah. You wanna hear my top 5 drummers?
Yeah, let's hear him.
All right. So Peter Criss from Kiss,
Oh
um,
yeah,
Eric Singer from Alice Cooper and Kiss and Black Sabbath. Um, Probably go with so that's 2. I'll go John Bonham from Zeppelin. Big Zeppelin
yeah,
fan, especially from a younger age. Uh, Go for the more of the metal side. Eloy is one of them. What
yeah.
he's doing with Slipknot right now, I'm surprised he hasn't beat the shit out of his drums yet.
Dude, yeah, it's mind blowing what he's doing. It's his videos are insane. What he's posting from this 25th anniversary, Slipknot show. It's crazy.
Yep, and Nico McBrain.
Dude, yeah, and he just retired. That was sad to see, but he's definitely a good one too. I've seen Iron Maiden twice. I want to say at this point,
Yeah,
but
same.
he crushes it, man. He's great.
Yeah, and to pull off those double kicks with 1 foot,
Yeah,
that's insane. Like,
he's barefoot too. It's like just crushing it. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I did read something that he had a stroke early, was it early 2024?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or something like that. Because like they were saying that like he couldn't play songs that he couldn't play anymore.
Right.
So after he had that stroke, I think it just like had a really big effect on his drumming.
Sure, or like at least in a live setting, like it didn't feel as comfortable to pull some of that off. So I get it. I mean, he's in his 70s. Like you got to hand it to him. He's crushed it, for so long.
Yeah. Have you ever watched do you watch like Drumeo?
Yeah, I do. That's a cool channel.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Did you watch the Phil Collins episode?
No, I don't think I've seen that one yet, but I'll have to
Yeah.
watch that 'cause I dig that, singing
When
drummer thing.
yeah, when his son set up Phil Collins drum set.
Hmm.
And seeing Phil Collins play a little bit of drums for the first time in years, it's just like wow.
That's
Because
awesome.
obviously he's very ill, I think.
Right, yeah.
What I've heard, that's why he doesn't play drums anymore live. I
Uh-huh.
think it's his son playing for him now. But yeah,
I mean, that's pretty
but
cool though.
it is, yeah. But yeah, Drumeo I could watch for hours, man. Like
Yeah, that's a cool channel. And like speaking of like, drummers getting their due and their credit, like I think that's a great channel that's making that happen, and like showing people like, you know, this is a dude that recorded this. You know, he's on a million albums, but you didn't know his name until now, and that's kind of cool that they
Yeah.
can, you know, showcase that sort of thing.
I really like that. I really like the ones where they get a random drummer coming in. They have to learn a song that they never know how to play.
I always wonder
My
how real that is, because I'm like, how do you not know this like a hugely popular song, and they go like, "What song is this?" And it's like the Chili Peppers. Like I've never heard it before, and they're like,
yeah,
it's cute, and sometimes like it's fun to see what they come up with. But I often wonder how accurate that is sometimes.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but other than that, man, I think my favorite one out of all of them is where that chick was playing Slipknot. Before I forget, with like one kick
Mhm.
pedal. With I
Okay.
think it was like a three or four piece set, and she fucking crushed it. It was
Oh, that's
nuts.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that one. I do
yeah,
like let's hit like an old school guy, like say like a session dude from the '70s or whatever, and they'll give him like a Deftones song. Like that's kind of cool. It's like because there's more of a chance that he hasn't heard Deftones, and it's cool to think of what he
yeah.
would play. Um,
I think I
so
might know
those
who
are fun
you.
to watch.
I think I might know which one you're talking about. It was he played for Billy Joel.
Yeah, I forget his name, but he was like a big session dude back in the day. But they gave him like a
Yeah,
Deftones song. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, and you
he
know,
fucking hated
see how
it.
they figure it out. Yeah, he was really upset. He's like, oh, it was funny, but like he was like getting angry about it. It was kind of it was cute.
Yeah, it was, but yeah, very well known drummer. Um,
Yeah,
let's dive into like horror movies. So
yeah, man.
you're a big horror guy.
Definitely. I mean, since I was a kid, I think the first thing I saw was actually Evil Dead was one of the first movies I ever saw. I think I was like four or
Yeah,
five, and I was like terrified. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing, of course, but it was like on the TV, and I freaked out. And I remember it was Evil Dead paired with Night of the Demons. You remember that one from the '80s?
no, Evil
That's
Dead I
that's a
do, yeah, but
Evil
none of the
Dead.
demons.
Okay, it's very similar. Think of Evil Dead in a Halloween party in LA. Like
Yeah,
basically,
I'm gonna
that's
write
what
this
it is.
down. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna look.
Definitely recommend if you haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but
Night of the
so I was always kind of intrigued by the horror stuff, and you know, as I got older, it grew, and um, I'm a massive fan now. So yeah, it's like it's definitely my top genre.
Yeah. I kind of felt like Evil Dead is sort of like the forgotten one
Hmm.
out of the whole three, I should say, because every time I talk about Evil Dead, people mention about Evil Dead 2,
Right.
straight up. Evil Dead 2 was like the best one, but like, what about the first one?
Seriously.
You know?
Well,
Yeah.
that was like the most straightforward one. Like this is scary and it's supposed to be horrifying. There's no comedy. There's no, you know, nothing. It's like it's as straight as it can possibly be played. Um, and I like all the Evil Dead stuff. It's fun, but just that first
Yeah.
one, it was like it's so just so creepy and witchy and gross. You know?
Yeah, that it's sort of like, well, obviously that was before Blair Witch Project, but like, just like the whole camera moving. It's kind of
Yeah,
just like creeping up to the fucking person is just creepy as shit. Have you seen the
yeah.
reboot?
I have. Yep. That one's also terrifying. The 2013
Yes.
one. And I love
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise too. It's kind of
Me
the best
too.
of both worlds. So yeah, I like them all. You know, it's but I like Evil Dead when it's like straight, when it's horror, straight horror, and not like less on the comedic side, I guess.
Yeah. 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 Because I kind of felt like that's what they did with Army of Darkness. But like with
Mhm.
the reboot, was it the 2012? Was it 2012 was the reboot, I think.
2013, yeah.
2013? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got the physical copy of it and I was watching the bonus features and they were saying that they didn't want to do another Ash Williams, so they made that version of Ash Williams as a female.
Yeah, it's like that makes sense. And like if they want to kind of distance themselves too from like the more comedic stuff from like the 80s and 90s, like it makes sense. Like let's kind of get a fresh start on, you know, characters and stuff. But I think it's kind of cool how like all those worlds are kind of coming together now in this world of multiverses and cinematic universes.
Yeah.
It all still kind of makes sense. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of felt like with that reboot, they put 1 and 2 together
Yeah.
instead of making it separate, like they
Like
do with the originals.
in which way?
So the second one was more. It's like sort of like I haven't watched the second one in a very long time. So
Uh-huh.
like this, so like the second one is sort of much just picks up where the first one lets off
Right.
in the cabin thing. Because I kind of felt like with the reboot, they put the part 1 and 2 all in together and just into one big movie as just Evil Dead.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. And and spoiler alert for the people that haven't watched it, but the scene where the the chick throws the truck on that girl's arm.
Oh yeah, brutal.
Yeah, and he like cuts it off, and that put me off for a little bit. But I thought that was pretty cool
Yeah,
to
that's
add
a
that
hard
in there.
watch, man. Like if you got to be prepared for that one.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that was at first I didn't like it, but I think it's like the more I watch it, I appreciate it as well.
Oh, sorry, I'm losing you again. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Am I good?
All right, is that better?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
Oh, good. Yeah.
cool.
Do you like modern horror movies, like the newer stuff now as well?
Oh, sorry, man. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, yeah. I think I heard like a little vibrate thing on your.
You still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it coming through your way?
Okay. Yeah. Is that? Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Real good.
Okay. Well, you know what, dude? Like, I hate to cut this a little short. I'm getting my phone's blowing up from my realtor. I'm in the middle of a move right now. I'm going to LA next in a
Okay.
couple weeks actually to move. So
Yeah.
I gotta take this call. If that's all right. So is it cool if we go a little short?
Yeah, 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 for sure, man. I was gonna ask you. I was about to ask you about like the new horror stuff, but then I asked you about your top 5 horror movies. But no, it's all good.
Sorry, man. It's cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Do you like the new horror stuff? Like, do you like the newer ones that have been coming out from like maybe the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, I just saw Smile 2, and I know that's not super new, but that's a great series. The Smile movies. That's probably like my favorite modern horror right now is what they're doing. Like it's super creepy and like I love
Yeah,
that. It's a good mix of like eerie and jump scares too. Um,
yeah.
so those are probably like my favorites right now. But what about you? Like what are you digging right now?
At the moment, Terrifier 3 is by far one of my favorite horror slasher Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Smile 2 was one of them. Evil Dead Rise, obviously that came out what 2 years ago or whatever it was.
Right.
Great movie. And also The Substance, the one with Demi Moore that she won an award for, I think it was.
Yeah, and I heard that was good. I need to watch that. That's probably the next thing I'll watch actually is The Substance. But you said it was
Oh
good
yeah.
though?
Yeah, dude. It goes for like
Okay.
nearly 2.5 hours. But
I know,
like
I gotta like plan
it's
for it, but
yeah. Such a great movie. Such a great movie. But yeah. Um what else? Another one that really messed me up was probably Midsummer.
yeah, dude, anything Ari Aster does, it's like that dude like knows how to make you feel grief, like and like such dread in his movies. I think 'cause I love Hereditary too. They're both like
Same.
like really heavy movies, and you kind of have to like be prepared to watch. But it'd be cool to see if he does more, because I love that and Midsummer. So it'd be cool to
Yeah,
see what's next. But Jordan Peele too, of course. Everything he's doing, from Get Out to Us to Nope, like he's batting 3 for 3 for me right now. So
yeah,
I'm ready for the next one.
yeah. Me too. Yeah, I know he. I think he's a producer or whatever for Monkey Man. I think.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
he's
which
doing
I
some
heard.
other things, and like I think he produced like the Candyman remake too a few years back.
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm waiting to see like what he does with his next vision or next movie of his own. That's not just like a kind of a side project. Um, but I think it'll be cool, whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah. I love the Scream franchise as well. That heavily got me into horror.
Yeah.
And also I love Halloween, but like I don't like the timelines.
Well,
So
I am like
the
a Halloween purist myself. Like that's probably
yeah,
my favorite. Like, and I loved these the ones that came out like in 2018 and Halloween Kills. Halloween Ends. We all know how that one went.
yeah,
I can still appreciate it, but I prefer this new timeline that they've done as opposed to 4, 5, and 6, and all
yeah,
those Cult of Thorns stuff or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it is cool to see that even things from that long ago have a resurgence still.
yeah, yeah. I tried watching Ends and it was painful to watch, but because like I just wanted to kill some time on my lunch break, so I
Yeah.
just put that on my iPad, and I'm just like, why am I watching this again?
I was very upset at first with Ends. I'm like, oh man, like what do they do to my
Yeah, yeah. Two more questions. So
again? I gotta take some calls. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sweet. Well, we'll finish off with top 5 horror movies, and then we can go.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah,
Top five. Halloween, The Shining. We'll get the classics out of the way. Um, Insidious, probably my
yes,
favorite ghost movie. It Follows, favorite kind of
yeah.
artsy movie. And then we'll go with five. Found footage. We'll go Grave Encounters. If you know Grave Encounters, that's my favorite found
I write
footage.
that down.
That's a good one right there for all you out
Graving
there that
count.
need a new one. Yep.
Done. Sweet as. Well, Dane, thank you very much for coming on and hanging out with me. It's nice to meet you in person. Well,
You too,
in the
man. Yeah, I
virtual
appreciate you
world.
having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Hope hope to see you in coming, coming back to Australia with Combichrist and stuff, and hopefully I'll get to meet you and Eric if you are listening.
100%, man. We'll make it happen. That sounds great.
Yeah, dude.
But
Well, guys, yeah. So, guys, make sure you go and follow Dane in all social media. You have a Patreon as well.
I do, yes. Everything is at Dane White. I'm most active on Instagram, so at Dane_White. You'll find everything you need there as far as my socials.
Sweet as. And guys, if you're watching or listening is to this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, like, whatever. Till next time, everybody. See you all soon. And Dane, thank you very much, my man. Everybody, take care of yourself. So,
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
peace out.